Back in mid-2019, I moved to a new town for a work opportunity. At the time, I didn't have much money saved, so I had to settle for the cheapest apartment I could find. It was a tiny one-bedroom unit on the second floor of a rundown building. With only 4 units total, the entire place looked like it hadn't been updated in decades, and honestly, the area wasn't the best either. For the first 3 months, I was the only tenant living there. The other 3 units were completely vacant, which made things feel even more eerie. But it was only supposed to be temporary, just long enough for me to save up and transition into something better. Work turned out to be a lot more stressful than I'd expected. Late nights, overtime, and a toxic environment quickly became my new normal. I didn't spend much time at home except to eat and sleep. One night, around 8 p.m., I got home after an exhausting shift. I kicked off my shoes and headed down the hallway to my bedroom when there was a sudden knock on my front door. I froze startled. I hadn't seen anyone outside when I was coming in. Confused and still groggy, I made my way to the door and peeked through the peephole, but the glass was dirty or damaged. I could barely see a thing. Hesitantly, I opened the door. Standing inches away was a man, probably in his late 40s or early 50s. He had scruffy dark hair and stubble, but what really struck me were his eyes. They weren't comforting or kind, they were unnerving, almost vacant. "Do you live here?" He asked after a short pause, his eyes widening slightly. It was a weird question, but I answered without thinking. "Yeah." He gave me a forced grin. "I'm moving into the unit next to yours. Just thought I'd introduce myself." He gave a stiff little wave and walked over to the unit next to mine, letting himself inside. Oddly, he never told me his name. I assumed he was just a quirky, awkward guy